Present evidence. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concerns by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Osmond's body double. Good gracious! Evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering, Consul. The court is expecting a name. If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now. My double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage, which means that any witnesses would have only seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of the explosion some 80 meters above the spectators? Aha! The body double was inside the second birdcage.
Take that!
I guess. We know the victim, Mr. Osmond, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage, and therefore he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contained something else. It was described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the Crystal Tower. Yes, Counsel. According to your somewhat elaborate versions of events. And that body double inside the second birdcage was, in fact... Alright, Mr. Naruto. You're ready for this. Just steel yourself, and come out with it. Thank you, Mr. Sato. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was... as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there!
Objection!
Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponiese friend. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. A model, in fact, of the famous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
Objection!
You started by indicating the leader of the forensic investigation team as an accomplice to this crime. And now you moved on to indicating waxworks? Yes, that's about the size of it. But why? And why this waxwork? Looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification could you give? You want to know why? Ask Mr. Draber. What? Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Draber abducted this model from Madame de Spells. Did you say abduct? And 2 days after the incident at the Great Exposition, he returned it to the museum. Then the timing. Is this true, Mr. Draber? At first, I couldn't see why Mr. Draber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. And now the reason is clear. He took it so he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Osmond.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientist. That he would do so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of a vast audience. And that, to the effect of the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide? Oh. Wait! Yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible. My lord! I need to speak if you will, please. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh, jeez.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Oh. Not great. And it goes back down again and it exploded. Why did that explode? That's so bad. So as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. I knew that was going to happen. We shall get through this, Mr. Naruto, as we always do, and uncover some new truths along the way. I'm quite sure. Yes, I agree. I have to appeal to the jurors as usual. See if I can persuade them to change their minds. Defense will now embark on a submission examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very well. In that case, I ask you now to state clearly for all present to hear the grounds for which each of you decided the defendant is guilty of the crime of which he is charged. Here we go again. I know that woman for years. She never been accomplished anything. It's utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with one another. Oh dear, this is most troubling. But surely the waxwork, the man still has nothing to do with the quarter, is it? I have my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much. I see no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture. Accused someone without right evidence is not a proper job, is it? I won't have it. Somewhat unsurprisingly, it seems the introduction of the waxwork model in the proceedings has polarized opinion. Given that its face is obscured and its build in no way resembles that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friends Demetri at suggesting it as Mr. Osmond's body double. Yes, the applause is deafening. And yes, I know it seems extraordinary, but that's the point! That's why I have a strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone else realizes yet. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? I can't explain why at the moment. I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used. Why it had to be this model. Really? Reason why nothing else would do, you mean? Yes, and I'm convinced it's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim. Well, if that's the case, we must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs. Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this. You're all ready, Counsel. You may proceed with the summonation examination. Yes, my lord. Here we go again. No. Rebuttal. For years, she never been accomplished to anything. Let's press it. The order of things seem to have changed around here for some reason. I'm a copper, lad. It's a copper's discretion to bend the rules sometimes. What needs must. What's wrong with that? Where do I start? Been working at the yard for 40-odd years. That's even more than I thought. We've only had a Metropolis police service in town for 70 years, you know? Most times have changed. Public didn't trust coppers back when we started. It was rough. We had to fight crime. We had to fight to win. Folks trust as well. When we did. Forensic science was in its infancy too. Even more than it is now. And she spearheaded their revolution. Dr. Seath, you mean? That's right. About 10 years ago now, it was when she was still youngish, bobbing on the beat. That's when she started making a name for herself as a top-class coroner. Now look at her. Head of the forensics investigation team, and a woman no less. Well, you wouldn't hear me complain. It's what we all dreamt of back then, I tell you. You told me without holding the gun in there. We were all out on the old justice, lad. Full of them. We were full of them. That's coming across loud and clear. Okay. Conniving with one another. Members of the police, so let's press this first. What sort of problems? Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity in our audience. We perform our great magic in parks, on street corners and the like. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult. Oh?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Oderman? Odermol? What are you calling a mass murderer? Sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him. I don't look like anything like the man. You want to be locked up, sonny? Thanks, Mr. Slumps. Guess we could move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what your number 3 just said. And clearly you do. Back in my day, good old days, it wasn't like this. What was it like, sir? We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then. Respected you? Huff. No one would have called a coroner in question in them days. Coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right. Special room, Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name into it. Courtney? It was the best of the best, and the apple of the force's eye. Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who is Courtney Stevens? Sorry. Got a bit carried away there. Stevens is Dr. Sleeth's maiden name. Her maiden name? That was before she was married. Of course, yes. Silly me. Safe now, isn't it? Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently. Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing. Not like now. Sorry to interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include the name? Well, yes, I don't see why not. Courtney stood back when I knew of her. Legendary coroner, even. Legendary, eh? So she worked with this. She knew Death by Hanging a Fern on Midnight, Courtney Stevens.
Hold it!
We can only press and pit. Okay. She was legendary, was she? What do you say? That woman is still the best coroner in the land. Head of the forensic investigation team. Legendary was your description, sir? not mine. Rubbish. That would never pass my lips. I never describe anybody that way, ever. Not if they were still in the game. I think the point you're trying to make, that Dr. Seath is an extremely talented coroner. Would that be fair? That what? Going for the fact that you're trying to drag the legendary woman's reputation through the mud. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that, legendary. Okay. A knife. Why would it be that way? But we're only just starting to understand this case. What are you reading there, sir? Man behind those murders on Solar Pond Street was caught in 2 days flat. That's real policing for you. That's really not relevant to the case, is it? You're wrong there. Because it was Dr. Seath in charge of examining the bodies. It was evidence arising from the work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible. Oh. That's right, you. That woman is on the forefront of this country's fight against crime. The idea that she's somehow involved in this murky business is a load of told talk. I thought it was up to me to press the jurors, not the other way around. I think those two would work together. There's nothing to do with the corner, does it? It does, though, actually.
Hold it!
Why would you assume that? Well, quite simply because that unsettling swindler has no relationship with the woman, does he? True. As it stands, we don't know any connection. Oh gosh. It would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have a mutual interest in the waxwork. Romantic? A woman's society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know. Oh, well, you'll learn something new every day, if you don't want to. One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and his coroner woman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor just there. This woman may be more astute than I've been giving her credit for. But that's the woman's stance. And perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Seath would be enough. Yes, I agree. As soon as we have even a whiff of a connection, I'll be the first to know. Alright. So let's pit. Oop. Pity. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious! To whose statements do you refer to, counsel? So juror number 2. Oh gosh, me? What can I do for you? I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Seath, which in turn has revealed a connection that wasn't apparent before. Well, naturally, as a woman in society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible. But oh golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean. Dr. Seath's maiden name is Stevens. And through the name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it. My goodness. Evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling. Counsel, the court cannot overlook the last remark. Very much hope there is substance to your claim. Of course, my lord. I will ask the court to look at this. Yes, the evidence that clearly links it together, and that is this.
Take that!
I have here a certain autopsy report for 10 years ago. 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have now? It is, of course, of the autopsy of the person betrayed in the waxwork. The killer known as the Professor. The Professor's... The man was a capital offender, so... That's right. This is the certification of death that was drawn up after the convicted's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gives few details. But what's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens. Oh my. Courtney Stevens? Strike a light! It appears the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Seath 10 years ago. And a few days ago, Mr. Dripper very deliberately stole the waxwork of the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Mr. Osmond, at all. And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those two events? Absolutely. I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind the Professor case is at the heart of a link that we yet to uncover between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Dripper. Hidden links, mysterious connections, secret relationships. This is all so much extraordinary. We're surely obligated now to explore this further. Let's go. We got it. It's tipping the scale. Quite right. Can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while there's a cloud of suspicion hanging over the Ald's best corner. Wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold the justice in the end. Alright, we got 2. Let's go. Let's go. 2, 2, 2. In a row, baby. Okay, cool, cool, cool. No positive members of police. There's proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture. Can we see the birdcage? Nothing there. Is there anything that would show that's the case? I don't think so. We literally just have to open it, and that's kind of the problem. Is that we need to open it. I don't think I could get to this one. Okay, we'll press them. I gotta ask, why have you brought that corn into court with you? Colin Cobb has been rolling back in the form. Take him off me way into town. It's a proper nipper, it is. Yes, nibbling seems to be taking quite a while. Maybe it could wait until after the trial? Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Any colonels at times like this? Whenever I'm something big to decide, the colonel's always pointing me in the right direction, see? You're talking about your cob of corn? Nibble nobble, guilty bobble, nibble not, guilty out. Nibble nobble, guilty bobble, nibble not, guilty out. Nibble nobble, guilty bob, nibble not guilty out. Nibble nobble, guilty bobble, nibble not guilty out. Perhaps it's akin to fortune telling with flower petals, like people do back home. Professor Hairbrain's fate is to be decided by a cob of corn? Could you at least wait until we've had more to find the truth before deciding on the defendant's guilt? I don't know about that. My tummy's already off for full already. Amazing. Corn. It almost seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork model of the professor was in that birdcage. But on the other hand, it explains a lot. There really is a reason why that particular waxwork had to be used as Mr. Osmond's double. We must do everything we can to make the jurors understand it. Truth is, I'm not sure that's the key to this. It's the most puzzling part of it, too. In that case, we should see what additional information he could glean whilst trying to change the juror's mind. read a book whilst eating a rice cracker. Mr. Nardo, I'm sure you could do this. Right. Yes. Okay, we don't need that one. Those two would ever be contriving with one another. So let's go to him. Press him.
Hold it!
But you claimed the whole instantaneous kineticist demonstration was a trick. That I did, but there's no more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't it? Sorry? I grant you, given that this cage appeared from amidst an explosion, there had been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least add the decency to make it look like the victim. I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency. The point is, if you're going to make a claim about the waxwork being inside the birdcage, you need to give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science. Suppose we should expect nothing less than a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. But that perhaps means his mind could be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence. Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage? Can I produce it or not? Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir. Oh? I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. Forgive me your jetpack outfit. I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here. You don't trust anyone in black. Looking in the mirror must be very trying. I do have some evidence that proves the waxwork was inside the birdcage. Namely, these.
Take that!
What's that? A piece of glass? Unusually thick for glass. Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket of the waxwork. As you say, not ordinary glass, though. Very thick and clearly made for extra strength. Much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower. Holy smoke! Exactly. The centerpiece of the Great Exposition, where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through a window of that special glass. From whence this little small piece originated. Is that it? Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that the clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you. Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you've shown me here, yes, I feel obligated to change my position on the matter. In that case, juror number 4, you'll amend your statement now, please. Leaves me a little doubt that the wax was indeed inside that birdcage. Okay. I do not trust him much. Is he gonna be a part of it? I think those two will ever be contriving. I don't remember. I guess I'm gonna pit these two together.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. But gracious! To whose statements do you refer, Consul? If you could put down your corn for a moment, juror number 5. Oh, you mean me? You pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence. But the accusation that the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside him. Oh, is that right? Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument? I don't understand much besides Colonel Kolb, to be honest. course you don't. If I could interject here. Please do, sir. Now, this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence. It would be wrong of me, as a matter of science, not to pursue the matter further. We got it! Let's go. Okay. Well, me too, then. Sorry? If this brave gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See, I want a tree will go on against Colonel Kolb, or anyone who's got stuff in between the ears. We got it! Let's go! Success! You could call it that. Thank you, Counsel. That would do. As a result of the summonation examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now called guilty, against 4 who called not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time. The trial must continue. We did it. Oh, well done, Miss Naruto. Another wonderful victory. A waxwork of the despicable professor uses a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case. I must say, it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true. However, it would appear that it does at least warrant further investigation. It's the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drebber and Dr. Seath. And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link. Don't know what you're hoping to prove, lad. I really don't. True, sir. By using evidence and testimony. And the court is to delve deeper into the alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case. And the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness. The owner? Madame Two Spells. I really thought Lord Van Zieks would reject this whole line of inquiry. Very well, I concur. Make a arrangement for Madame Dispel to appear as a witness with immediate effect. Listen carefully, my learned friend. Oh, yes? You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box. The court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon the new witness and prepare her for taking the stand. Madame Two Spells, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord. Ooh-wee. With that being said, we are done for today's court trial. We continue on with trial day 2, part 2. Next time. Until then, though, everybody, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you can. Sayonara. Bye-bye.